Hey everyone, my name is Jennifer Rice, and I'm here with my really good friend Stacie. Hey Stacie, how are you?
I'm great, Jennifer.
Awesome. Well, I'm so glad you agreed to talk with me today because we are in the same state.
Hey, go Hoosiers!
Yeah. Yes, go Hoosiers. Stacie is in northern Indiana. And for people who don't know Indiana, yes, northern, there's a central and a southern Indiana. So she covers northern Indiana. So Stacie, will you tell us, first of all, about yourself, kind of how you got into real estate and, just about you and your family, first off?
Sure. Yeah, so thank you so much. I really appreciate your time, Jennifer. And I have been in real estate. This is my third year now. I have a background in healthcare. So for 15 years, I worked as a sonographer. I did ultrasound, and I also did some mental health work on an inpatient psychiatric unit. So a lot of interesting background. Really, what I've found is that I love people, and I've always been very interested, obviously, in helping people with a healthcare background. And after having my daughter and COVID, life changes. I was always interested in real estate. Finally got to that point in my life where I thought, if I don't try it, I'm always going to wonder what if. So I jumped in both feet, left a career and that I had for several years that I liked very much, and coworkers, and second guessed myself for a long time. Let's be honest, for at least the first year, probably 2 years. And throughout all of that, have learned so much, grown so much, and now I am absolutely thriving, and could not be happier.
Oh my gosh, that is so amazing. And you know, it's funny that I can tell you kind of come from a healthcare background. You're very caring, and I'm
Mhm.
sure that the clients see that, you're someone who wants to help other people, which is,
Mhm.
one of the best things, one of the best personality traits you can have in real estate. Tell me about your family.
Yes. So my husband of just over 11 years, we just celebrated our anniversary last week,
Oh,
is my absolute favorite human, aside from my daughter. So we are best friends, and we met in our late 20s and knew immediately that, that was it. So we've been very happily married, and yeah, have learned and grown and changed so much with each other. And then we had our daughter in 2021, and wow, that'll change everything. So we're just getting, doing this crazy life. We are really active in our community. We live in a smaller town of about 15,000 people. My daughter just started preschool, so I'm on the preschool board. I'm really active in a lot of nonprofits in our area, very active with our local chamber. Yeah, I'm just spending my time how I want and loving people. It's pretty great.
and see, that's one of the amazing things about, being in real estate. We can kind of make our own schedule in a way. But, it gives us some of the freedoms that having another type of career doesn't always allow, freedom to be with your family. So congratulations on 11 years. And oh my gosh, how old is your daughter now, you said?
She's about almost 4.5.
Oh, okay. Well, listen, you got your hands full. That's
Yes, thank
awesome.
you. She's a
So,
helper.
you,
She goes on showings, and she loves to be helpful. She always wants to help. We just put a sign in, so she wanted to help with that, take a picture in front of the sign. So it's
oh my
fun to be
goodness.
able to share the family business. I didn't realize how much I would love that. So it's awesome.
That is cute. That is awesome. And she's learning from you. You're a business owner, and that's so amazing. I love that. When we talked about, initially Northern Indiana, of course, that covers kind of a wide area.
Mhm.
What areas or cities or counties do you actually cover?
Yes. So as a Keller Williams agent, our main market center is out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. That's the second largest city, obviously next to Indianapolis. And so from there, I'm about 45 minutes straight west. So I'm in Kosciusko County, and Warsaw is the largest city in Kosciusko County of about 15,000 people. It's a very unique area in Indiana. We are considered the biomedical capital of the world, which is very interesting. The majority of people that live in and around Kosciusko County are affiliated with the biomedical industry in some way, shape, or form. So because of that, we have a lot of benefits really in a city that is pretty rural. We have amazing parks. We have a ton of resources. We do have, pretty really good wages, comparatively, and we still have a low cost of living. We also have 100 lakes in our county, which is amazing because we're a landlocked state. I am from Michigan originally. Moving to Indiana, I thought, oh my goodness, like, how am I gonna get my fix of water? And then coming to Kosciusko County, I have just found we live on a lake. There are 3 lakes in my town. It is a huge industry here, over $300 million a year associated with our local lakes just in Kosciusko County. So I do serve about an hour radius, but it includes Elkhart, Noble, Kosciusko, Allen County, Whitley County, those areas.
Okay. Okay. And you're in Warsaw, is that right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. So, you would service the Fort Wayne area, Warsaw.
Mhm.
What's the farthest west? Like what type of city over there would that be?
So I do go a little bit more west than Warsaw, but really Warsaw is about as far west as I go. Plymouth is a little bit further than that.
Okay.
And north, I do go to like South Bend, Mishawaka, Granger area, which has been very, very popular. A lot of relocations. There's a lot of industry there, a lot of things coming, Google, data center. So there's a lot going on. And yeah, Northern Indiana is like a little hidden gem. But I'm sure
Wow.
similar, in Indianapolis, like you can live comfortably here, and we have seasons, and we have wonderful schools. Yeah, there's a lot of perks to living in the Midwest.
Well, it's so funny because yeah, I only live 2 hours from you, and yeah, Indiana, it's such a great cost of living. Our property taxes are relatively low compared to the rest of the country. Home insurance is lower, tons of stuff to do. Like you said, relatively good wages for, the cost of living that we have here. And so it makes it a really nice opportunity. You mentioned South Bend. So of course we have Notre Dame up there, which employs quite a few people. And in Indiana, you said biomedical. Of course, we have companies that do manufacturing, a lot of that. So it brings a lot of people to our state in your area. So, talking about your area, so are there opportunities, say investors want to invest in your area? What type of opportunities are there?
They're great. Actually, I just listed a home under $200,000 today.
Mm.
It has a half an acre. It's move-in ready. It is a half a mile from public access to Webster Lake, which is it's a ski lake, over 500 acre, very sought after area. So an investor, that's a great investor opportunity. Again, under $200,000, you can move in. You have space for your boat. You have all of the parking. There are a lot of options on the lakes, especially a lot of homes. Recently, we've had sewer projects come in, and which is wonderful because we're getting sewers around our lakes, so we don't have septic and we don't have as many pollution issues. So that has been a goal for a long time, and that has started to happen across our watershed and our county, and it's very exciting. Well, with that, obviously, there is a cost that is incurred, and so there's a lot of smaller little cottages that they no longer, are able to afford that, or maybe it's something that was in the family and they're not really using anymore. So this is turned into a really opportune time for a lot of people because obviously the market is still here, a seller's market. So we're less than like 2 months of inventory here. If you price it right and it's decent condition in any sort of sought after location, I mean, it's gone pretty much immediately. And for anything that's under 250, I mean, a lot of times it's gone the minute it's on the market. But there are a lot of opportunities for sure, just because of the low cost of living and some of those turnovers, as we were saying, like there's some opportunities around the lakes, and it's a huge draw. A lot of people, want to come here. There are a lot of second homes here, so we call them Lakers. That come in from the weekends. They're coming from Indy. They're coming from Detroit. They're coming from Chicago, and they want to be on the water.
So also with that, a lot of opportunities maybe for, and depending on the regulations in the city, Airbnbs or maybe vacation rentals as well.
Yes, yes. I know that there are some restrictions and limitations, really all over the country, depending on where you're at.
Mhm.
And that is the case here, depending on where you are. So obviously, it's always good to make sure that you understand going into a property, what that property, could do for you or what those limitations are. But there are a lot of people, yes, that do the short-term rentals, even that do the long-term rentals. And then with the short-term, I know there's several local landowners that they will rent their places out in the winter all winter long and then do more of a short term in the summer. So yeah, lots of options, definitely.
Okay. And so in your area, for example, let's talk your city. What would you say is the median price of a home right now?
So right now, I just checked yesterday, it's about $250,000.
Okay. And see, Indy is 254 for the city of Indianapolis. So, it's so affordable in Indiana. I mean, an investor could come in, they could get something for a great price. Also, people who are moving to our state, like you said, in your area, it's a low cost of living, it's an easy way of life. Talk about that because I was telling someone that even Indianapolis, of course, it's a little different than where you are. It's just an easy way of life here, right?
Yes, it really is. So, like I said, I live on a lake. It's just a little lake, 228 acres. It's a non-ski lake, but there's walking trails that are attached to it. There is a marsh that's been preserved. And there's just, yeah, it's so nice. I look out my window, I see a bald eagle, I see herons. And then at the same time, I'm a half a mile from Meyer. That is so unique to have that. I mean, you step out the back and feels like you're on your own lake, and then at the same time I have the amenities of like city water and city sewer, right? So yeah, just very unique. And I think family is a huge focus in the area. That's what I hear from people is like, oh, it's such a great place to raise a family. And then there are a ton of opportunities like the biomedical companies. So we're getting a lot of young professionals here, and so there has been a huge push with our KEDCO, our Kosciusko Economic Development Corporation, to try to figure out the best way to retain these professionals, because we know we're a smaller town. So we're really trying to look at what can we offer, what can we do in our strategic planning moving forward to make this a place that everybody wants to come, for one, and then stay, and grow. And so it's very exciting to kind of be a part of that. And like I said, being active with the chamber, I'm able to see some of those things and just have that knowledge and be able to pass that on to others. Right now, like I said, I kind of live in town, but also on a lake. They're doing a ton of road traffic, and they are extending the road. They're putting in those nice big sidewalks with lamp posts. Again, just more access. They've just recently started a county parks. They're going to extend our trails so they can connect to each other through the counties. Just, a lot of really nice stuff coming to the area. And yeah, it's great just to be able to even go downtown. Like, again, we don't pay for parking in our little town, right? You just like street park, and it's a few blocks. But we have awesome restaurants, like very nice high-end restaurants. And then also, just your like everyday places. And yeah, it's a great place to call home.
It's a great way of life up there. Like I said, I've been, it's really awesome. And of course, you mentioned the most important thing. We have Meyer here in Indiana. If you don't know, sorry, you'll have to come here and we'll tell you about Meyer. But I'm so glad I got to talk with you today. Thank you so much for telling me about your area. And for anyone looking for those opportunities, in Indiana, Northern Indiana, and Warsaw and those areas are such an amazing place to go. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much, Stacie.
Thank you so much, Jen. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.